Let's get into some of your questions. What's up, Fin fans? Bye week, no game, which means no preview, no post, none of that jazz. I did do a State of the Dolphins video on Thursday. Go check that out. And I also have our picks on Wednesday that I put out. Go check that out. I picked the Seahawks and I won. So first things first, I got this kick-ass bracelet from my girlfriend's mom. And if you can see it, let me see. I don't know if you could see it, but it's a lokai bracelet. If you don't know what a lokai bracelet is, it's a Miami Dolphins lokai bracelet, right? So if you look right here, the bead is white, and then if you look on the back, this bead is black, right? And the way a lokai bracelet works is the white bead has water from Mount Everest. Essentially the snow is water. And the black bead has sand from the lowest part of the ocean. So what this bracelet does is essentially your highest highs and your lowest lows. It just keeps you very level-headed. And I'm super pumped that she got me the Dolphins one. I have a blue one, which when you buy the lokai bracelet, it donates a certain amount of your money to water, to bring water to people who don't have water. And I have a green one that when you donate your money, when you buy your bracelet, they donate your money to trees being planted. So obviously I bought those two because I'm really into that type of stuff. This bracelet my girlfriend's mom got for me today, and I love it because I'm doing this video today, and we're at the point in the season where 5-5, we're in the middle, and we always have the highs of highs and lows of lows, and this just reminds me to keep level-headed and keep being a kick-ass Dolphins fan. So just want to show you guys this kick-ass bracelet. You can go get them. Google lokai. I'll probably put a font right here to tell you what it is. This isn't a sponsored video. I just wanted to show you guys what I got on my wrist and what I'm rocking. So other than that, we're doing a Q&A video. I'm gonna answer a bunch of you guys' questions. I got 2 from Twitter. I got a bunch of you guys from here on YouTube. So I'm gonna answer a bunch of you guys' questions. You guys asked some good ass questions, so I got a good amount of them. So, but keep asking below, and I love responding and picking them for your comment of the day. So let's start with Greg Burns from Twitter, and he asked me, if you're going after a quarterback for the future, would it be wise for the Dolphins to take a deep look at a dual threat quarterback and turn our weakness into strength? It'll help our defense in practice to become more stout and keep opponents on their heels. I like this idea, but I only like this idea if the dual threat quarterback is good at both. Because if you notice, some dual threat quarterbacks are really good at running, but they're not good at passing. So, like Michael Vick was great at running, and his passing was okay, but it wasn't great. So if we can get a quarterback that does both, sure, but then you also have to realize that with the running, he has more of a chance of getting injured, even in today's NFL where they're really protecting the quarterback. Cases for injuries with scrambling quarterbacks. But I do like where your brain's at, especially with helping the defense get used to facing a scrambling quarterback, because we have a hard time against scrambling quarterbacks and tight ends. And now running. And sometimes passing. We're not doing great. Next question. This next question comes from Kelly, and just gonna start popping up some things right here. This is footage that Kelly sent me from the Dolphins-Jets game when Dolphins were home. He was at the game, so he was sending me a bunch of things. I'm just having them pop up right here. Really cool. Appreciate it, Kelly. Thank you. Let's get to your question. Even though the Dolphins are mathematically still in the hunt, wouldn't you agree that it's time for a complete reset with this organization? A 500 team for the past 15 seasons is simply not good enough. Kelly, I do see where you're coming from. They're still in the hunt. They're actually doing better with the Bengals losing. You know, there's only going to be one spot open for that wild card. Between the Chargers and the Chiefs, one of them is getting that wild card, so there's only open for one spot. And right now it's between the Titans, the Dolphins, and the Bengals. And if the Bengals and the Titans lose while the Dolphins are on their bye, then it's literally between the Dolphins and the Bengals because of that tiebreaker that we should have won. A complete reset with the organization. I I agree, but then I kind of don't want to because to restart is going to be hard, and I kind of like Adam Gase, which is like blasphemy. I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for saying that. I don't like his play calling, so I would like for him to take his play calling, give it to an offensive coordinator, get a new defensive coordinator. I don't like the front office, but it's kind of like if you're getting rid of the GM and, you know, all that jazz, then why not do it all? So I do agree, but I would get rid of Greer, Tannenbaum, Burke, and I would get a new offensive coordinator, and I'd give them their play calling, and then when it comes to players, that's a horse of a different color. Hope that answered your question, Kelly. Next question. This next one comes from Trevant. Hope I said your name right. He got a three-parter in his questions. He got 3 questions for me. Let me see if I can bang these out for you guys. He asked me, number 1, do you think the Dolphins are going to keep Frank Gore for another 2 or 3 seasons because he still's got some gas left in his tank? To that question, if he said he wants to stay with Miami if he, you know, can get through the offseason and if he's still healthy next year. Yes, but then it also depends on what happens with Le'Veon Bell, because supposedly there's an interest from the Dolphins, and then Kenyon Drake and all that stuff. So it all depends, but if he wants to come back, I don't see why not. It's always good to have fresh legs on the team, so that's that. Second, he says, do you think Darren Rizzi should be the head coach next season? If they do fire Adam Gase and none of the Harbaughs are available and it's only these offense and defensive coordinators, like no big name or no, you know, veteran head coach that has done it before and been successful with another team, then yes, I actually like the thought process of putting Darren Rizzi at head coach because I think he's going to be a very good head coach. So I do like that question. And number 3, if the Dolphins fire Adam Gase, who would be a good candidate to replace him? At this point, I don't know who's getting fired. Supposedly, you know, with our owner, who's a huge Michigan fan, the Harbaughs are in play. I could see one of them getting fired, especially the Ravens head coach, because they haven't been doing too great. So I don't know right now. I'll be able to answer that question better at the end of the season. So if you do want to ask me that question again, but I hope I answered your other questions, and thank you for the questions. Now, next question. I said question like 5,000 times. Next one comes from Pete. Me and Pete have some very good conversations in the comments below. I appreciate Pete. And he asks me, how many games do you see us winning with and if Tannehill comes back healthy and plays out the year, or Osweiler starts for the rest of the year? Tannehill can't get healthy enough. So he's asking me, how many games do I see us winning the rest of the year with Tannehill healthy? And then how many games do I see us winning the rest of the year with Osweiler healthy playing? If Tannehill comes back and Tannehill is healthy, right? No capsule. Keep doing this when it's this. No capsule, you know, discomfort. He can throw his passes just however he wants, like that Stills touchdown deep pass or his out routes or all this stuff. He's, you know, back to arm strength 100%. Tannehill is there. How many games do I see the Dolphins winning? That would all depend on the defense, but then I feel like the offense would be churning better. So I would say 3 to 4 games. If Tannehill's back 100%, like 100%, I could see 3 to 4 games. Some of them surprising, like a surprise win against the Vikings. You never know. With Osweiler in there at starter, I would take a game off. So I'd say 2 to 3 games with Osweiler in there. You know, I'd see us surprising a team, but you know. So with Tannehill in there, 3 to 4. With Osweiler in there, 2 to 3. Like just a 1 game. I feel like there's a 1 game drop off between Tannehill and Brock Osweiler, just because of the dynamics that Tannehill has at his running, at the defense having to make sure to keep an eye on his running, which then their defense can't focus on one thing. So that's my opinion. But thanks for the question, Pete. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you. Let's get to the next question. This one comes from Shidlock Sitting Bear. That's a very, very good name. He asked me, what do you think about the Finns going after Mullins and then focusing on the D-line and O-line in the offseason and draft? I'm assuming you're talking about Mullins, Nick Mullins, the quarterback for the 49ers. He had that hot game against the Raiders where he threw 3 touchdowns, 262 yards. had a 151.9 quarterback rating. But then he had the Giants game where he threw a touchdown, 2 interceptions, and had a 73.7 quarterback rating. I know when he first after that Raiders game, everyone was on him. Everyone was like, "This guy's going to be great. He's good. You know, this and that." They did the Sam Darnold, if you know what I'm saying, where, you know, he had one good game. And then all of a sudden everyone was like, "This guy's going to be good," or, "Oh my God, look at this guy. Who's this guy coming out of nowhere?" You know, when it comes to quarterback acquisitions and stuff, I'd go a different way than Mullen. But I do like focusing on the O-line and the D-line. That definitely needs to happen, and especially with the defensive tackles and especially with the interior of the Dolphins offensive line. But we also don't know what's going on with Sitton and Kilgore, if they'll be able to come back. If Sitton can come back one more year and he can stay healthy, and if Kilgore can come back and stay healthy, then, you know, we're in better shape. But thank you for the question. I really appreciate it. Let's get to the next one. This next one comes from a name that's very hard for me to pronounce, so I'm going to call you Big R. I apologize. Razlith and Lissar? I'm just gonna call you Big R. And he asks me, if the Dolphins come out after the bye and manage to make the playoffs, injuries and all, is Gase in conversation for Coach of the Year? I don't see how he's not. If the Dolphins come out and run the table, right, and they go 11-5, win the division, make the playoffs, how do you not see Adam Gase as Coach of the Year? If the Dolphins come out and they win a good amount, go, you know, win 5, win 4, go 10-5, 9-7, 10-6, 9-7, and make the playoffs, he's gonna get overlooked, because even in 2016 he didn't even get a consideration. He wasn't even one of the names in there. Even last year when the Dolphins were shittier, he was still in the playoff hunt after we beat the Patriots, and he still didn't even, like, no one even breathed his name. A lot of you fans probably are like, "Screw him, we hate him." So no, I'm gonna say no. He'll go 11-5, win the division. They'll still be like, "Nah." Who can we? They'll give it to Andy Reid with the Chiefs. They'll give it to, you know, Sean Payton with the Saints. They'll give it to the Rams head coach. You know, nope. But thank you for the question. I really appreciate it, and I'm really sorry I can't pronounce your name. I can't pronounce a lot of people's names, but I do appreciate the question. Thank you. This next one comes from Chief Bubba, and he's got a two-parter for me as well. You guys were jamming those questions in. And he asks me, 1, should the Dolphins go after Nick Foles from the Eagles instead of going after Derek Carr and part ways with Brock Osweiler and Ryan Tannehill? No, I wouldn't go after Nick Foles. No. I would go after Teddy Bridgewater, go after different quarterbacks. I would still draft a quarterback. This year, I don't know if I draft a quarterback high, because I'm hearing that this year's draft isn't too great with quarterbacks. I'm going to have to look into that more. I know a lot of you guys now are going to comment below, throwing a bunch of names at me. But I'm going to look into that more. But I wouldn't go after Nick Foles, if that answers your question. Because look at what he did when he went to the Rams. You know what I'm saying? Your second part of the question is, who are some of the players on the team that they need to part ways with? Andre Branch is one of them that they need to part ways with. Robert Quinn, they need to part ways with, because you'll be surprised how much cap we can get back after cutting his ass. Ryan Tannehill, I would make this guy restructure and sign a new contract for less money. If not, Vio con Dios. See you later. Who else? There's some other guys that I would probably kick rocks to. Spence, the defensive tackle, I'd probably let go. You know, I'm going to do a whole video on it when it comes to that point, on how we're going to create cap space and who we should cut. We can have like almost 50 to 60 million under the cap with letting players go, and it's not players you're thinking of like, you know, big high name players. It's players that you're like, oh, I was already expecting them to go. So watch for the Dolphins to have a lot of money this offseason. But thank you for the question, Chief Bubba. Let's get to the next question. This is another two-parter. It's from Ison. I hope I said your name right. If I said your name wrong, I apologize. And he asks me, I have a question about your name. Why DouglieDoWrong? And do you ever plan on changing it to something more related to football? And then he asks, what kind of field do you work in? So to the first part, my name is DouglieDoWrong because my friend wanted to call me ugly. I like joking around, he was gonna call me ugly. My name's Doug, so he called me Douglie, right? And we all laughed for a good like hot minute because he called me Douglie instead of ugly. And then I know that there's a cartoon character out there called Dudley Do Right. So I was like, well, Dudley is kind of the same, but he called me ugly. Screw Do Right. Let's flip it on its head. DouglieDoWrong, and that's where that came from. And do you ever plan on with me changing it to be football related? You guys know me as DouglieDoWrong. I love the name DouglieDoWrong, and for me to change the name to be like Douglie Football or Douglie Dolphin or something like that, it would take a process, and then I'd have to start a whole new channel because my name is associated with DouglieDoWrong, and I like it. Let me know below. Comment below. Let me know if you guys like DouglieDoWrong. I like it. And then when you ask what kind of field do I work in, I work in, I have it right here, roll of film, media. I graduated from college with a degree in media, so filming, recording, editing, all that stuff. That's why I like with this stuff. I enjoy talking to you guys, enjoy talking about football, and I get to take my love of football and my love for editing and media and put it into one when doing these videos for you guys, because I get to edit in the cool stuff that you see below and like the pop-ups and my cuts and the intro, I made that, all that stuff. So thank you for the question, and let's get to the next one. This next one comes from DeAndre, and he asks me, hey Douglie, what do you believe needs to happen going forward for you to consider this a successful season for the Miami Dolphins? Well, when the season started, I said, you know, I'd be happy with an 8-8, 7-9 season. Even a 9-7 I'd be ecstatic with. You know, like I always tell you guys, keep my expectations low because I'd rather be surprised than let down. So for the Dolphins to go 9-7, 10-6, I would be happy, and I would consider it a successful season because of the injuries and the setbacks and all the stuff the Dolphins had to deal with this season. If they make the playoffs, that's even more success for me, even if they lose in the first round. So for me to consider this season a successful one, 9-7 or better, and or make it the playoffs. Thank you for the question, DeAndre. This next one comes from Street King. He's been a subscriber for a very long time. He's in the fantasy league, which I will be talking about soon because we're almost at the playoffs. And he asked me, if Tannehill doesn't come back and play this season, has he played his last down as a Dolphin? Same question, but even if he does come back and he's mediocre, is it his last year as a Dolphin, or does Gase stick with him another year? So if Ryan Tannehill doesn't come back at all, he's done for the year, the capsule injury is too much, and that's it, I don't see him. Me personally, I'm done. You're done. See you later. Go play for somebody else. Or, hey, we'll cut you, but then we'll re-sign you for a contract of about $10 million a year because you're not worth the $26 million because you haven't played for 2 seasons. If he comes back and he's mediocre, then I still see them doing that where they try to get his cap number down, but still keep him so we have some type of veteranship. But I also see them bringing in 2 more quarterbacks to have a competition finally and push Tannehill or push him out. And if he does fantastic, I still would do it. Regardless of what's going to happen with Tannehill, I'd redo his contract, and if not, fire Diaz. Hope that answered your question, Street King. How you doing? You doing good? That is the Q&A video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope everyone who asked their questions, I answered it as best as I could. I appreciate all of you guys. Just getting a little mushy on you guys right now. You guys are the reason that I'm almost at 2,200 subscribers. You guys are the reason that I do what I do. Other than my love for the Dolphins, it's my love for you guys and your responses. Even if you disagree with what I say, even if you agree with what I say, even when you call me an idiot, even when, you know, you guys get mad at me for what I say, I still appreciate every single one of you, and I still love talking and commenting with you. Sometimes we talk and sometimes we disagree, but in the end, it's awesome to chat with you guys. So thank you all for helping me get where I'm at. You know, sky's the limit. I have a ton of things planned for us. There's still 6 games left. So follow me on Twitter if you're not already. Here comes the spiel. I tweet out a ton of things, especially during games. I took 2 of you guys' comments from Twitter. I'm retweeting things that as soon as I'm finding. So be sure to follow me on Twitter. on my second channel, The Bit Boys. I know a bunch of you guys have. I really appreciate that. So from the bottom of my heart and from the other guys, we do appreciate you guys subscribing and checking out The Bit Boys. If you like video games or like all that stuff, go over there, check it out. Other than that, give this video a thumbs up. Like I said before, there's 6 games left in the season. The season's not over, and the Dolphins are in 500, 5-5. Look at the Green Bay Packers. With Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers, they are below 500. So the season's not over, guys. I know that the way the defense is playing is shit, and we're gonna get torched by some teams, and the offense isn't playing great. We don't know about Tannehill, but it's still there's still a lot to be played. So subscribe if you're not subscribed already. I do this all the time. I love the Dolphins, especially in the offseason. If you guys have been here from the beginning, comment below. Let me know if you guys have been here from the beginning when I do my OTAs and my training camp videos, which I love doing for you guys as well. So subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Like I said, I will see you guys real soon. I'm going to do a video on Monday. I got a bunch of things planned for you guys. Hope you guys enjoy the bye. Let's see these Dolphins get healthy. Let's see these Dolphins come out and at least win 4 of the next 6. Make it an effort. Make it a 9-7 team. Push for the playoffs. But other than that, like usual, love you all. Stay classy. Fins up. This video has 2 things going on in it. First, I'm going to break down some things that had happened yesterday when it came to somebody coming in working out for the Dolphins, and then them signing somebody. And then I'm going to essentially give the state of the Miami Dolphins. What does that mean? I'm going to see where they're at right now, being that we're on their bye, and then see what the rest of the